You find his actions abhorrent around January 6th. You said he was wrong to take the classified information. You said you would not do that yourself, yet you still say you would vote for him for president. That's what I don't get.
George, I said what every Republican nominee said to make it on that debate stage, that we will actually support the Republican nominee from our party. Frankly, I think that this is an embodiment of what's wrong with our culture right now, looking backwards, obsessing over details in the past, going after one man, a deranged mental cultural state in the media and in this country, as opposed to talking about what we need to talk about, how we better declare independence from China than any past president has.
That man is defeating
the integrity of a constitutional republic.
Sir,
stimulate our economy. That's what I care about.
Sir, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination right now. He's a former president of the United States. He's leading you by 40 points, yet you still say you would vote for him despite what you say about his behavior. That's the question I am asking. It's not an obsession.
It's a good way to try and dismiss any actual concerns about the guy. One line that Vivek and many other conservatives like to talk about is, you guys are obsessed with Donald Trump. You're obsessed with the past, things that happened before, as they consistently talk about still Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, even Joe Biden and his son. All those things, since we're not supposed to talk about anything that happened in the past, the things that went down with Hunter Biden happened in the past. Shouldn't we stop talking about it? No, because it's what they're talking about. It's a nice deflection, try and get away from things, to even say, this is what I'm focused on, the economy and everything else. Really? Is that the way these things work? Or are we just trying to cover even further for the guy that you're running against? By the way, Vivek got into this kind of argument back and forth with Andrew Mitchell just last weekend in trying to defend Trump, or kind of not. Still though, maybe this is his chance. Let's watch this next clip.
Back in January 2021, you described President Trump's actions then as abhorrent. What exactly did you find abhorrent about his actions around January 6th?
I would have handled that situation very differently than Trump did. But I do draw a distinction, George, between bad behavior and illegal behavior. And once we start conflating those two things, I think we're in a long downward slide as a country. So I'm running this race because I think our nation badly needs to be reunited. But that does not mean he deserves to be prosecuted for it. Those are two separate questions.
Was it wrong for the president to create slates of phony electors?
I think that there were a number of bad judgments that were made.
Sir, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination right now. He's a former president of the United States. He's leading you by 40 points, yet you still say you would vote for him despite what you say about his behavior. That's the question I am asking. It's not an obsession.
Now, I don't know if you know something there, David. When you ask these guys specific questions, they have to then answer them, or it'll be obvious that they're dodging it further. There in that clip, George Stephanopoulos asked him, so when it comes to bringing up fake electors, is that okay? Because when you don't ask them the specifics and say, do you support Donald Trump despite all of his legal issues? Because there's tons of them, and they can just say everything he did was fine. But if you ask directly what it is that he's been accused of, that we've seen him talk about doing, and his associates talk about what they did, is that okay? And he has to then say, well, I would do it differently. What that means is, hell no, I wouldn't have done it because that's illegal. And if it was a Democrat, I'd be asking for their head on a stick. But since it's Donald Trump, I have to dodge it somehow. That's where you find actual answers from these folks. Vivek is a fast talker, but I don't think he can talk his way out of direct question. If we just did that a little bit more, maybe we can see where the hypocrisy lies.
Yeah, I love getting down on the specifics and on the details, as Vivek says, that it's a cultural problem that the media has, this sort of obsession. Well, January 6th may be an obsession politically, legally, but the fact of the matter is it happened. And I think a lot of Americans who are trying to make judgments about Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, the rest, they want to know, how do you see this? What do you feel about Donald Trump? Now, I get politically, Ramaswamy and the rest, they want to be able to say, if they somehow, God forbid, but if they somehow become the nominee, they want to be able to say to the MAGA crowd, I didn't stab Donald Trump in the back. You should support me because I wasn't willing to throw your guy under the bus. And they will happily take the claim from the media, but you said that what Donald Trump did was wrong. He said, yeah, but so they want to have it both ways. They don't want to piss off anybody, and especially the Donald Trump supporters who they're going to need if they're going to eventually be the nominee and have a chance in the general election. But I do think that, again, the equation starts to change if in fact Donald Trump does become a convicted felon by a jury of his peers. And to your point, Ramaswamy is very smooth. He's extremely articulate. He's a fast talker. And I do think it doesn't serve the media's purpose, I think, at this point to say, would you support Donald Trump or not? Because they can always say, well, it depends what's going to happen 6 months from now. Better to say, was it right or wrong to have these fake electors? Was it right or wrong to continue to fight in the courts after the court said that there was no evidence here, pin them down on the specifics and let voters make their own judgment based on that.
An odd approach. Let the voters make their own judgment rather than tell them what is it's happening. It's absolutely inaccurate.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.